My name is Andrew Mitchell. I'm from Dover, New Hampshire, and I'm reading from my short story, Midnight Drives. Scoop chewed the inside of his cheek, a tick he'd picked up from his father. "This town, man," he said, knocking down mushrooms with his branch, the crumbs scattering like teeth. He popped the hood. It opened with a sound like a rusty hiccup. Lodged between two black hoses next to the engine was a thick, pulpy thatch of shredded paper mixed with twigs, grass, leaves, and, strangely, a scrap of fabric imprinted with dancing cartoon pineapples. Scoop pulled out a handful of this mixture, let it sift through his fingers, and said, "Know what this is?" "No idea," I said. "Nest. Mice," he said, slamming the hood shut so hard I felt the impact in my chest. "The mice," he went on, "had probably gnawed through every wire. Repairs would cost hundreds of dollars, thousands. And where the heck was he supposed to come up with that kind of cash?" He slapped a mosquito on his elbow. I placed the cake on the hood. The blue icing letters were beginning to melt. It was 90 degrees and humid, the air dense with the memory of last night's rain. 4 nights after Eric's funeral, Scoop's father drove the Firebird into the field. Scoop had asked me to spend the night, and around 1 a.m, I'd woken to the sound of the Firebird's engine coming to life, followed by the faint melody of a John Prine song Eric used to listen to again and again and again. And upon hearing both the engine and John Prine, as I had so many times before, my first thought was that Eric had returned. His death had been a misunderstanding, and here he was about to embark on another one of his midnight drives. "Scoop," I whispered, but he was still asleep, and something told me I shouldn't wake him. From the bedroom window, I watched the Firebird creep toward the edge of the field, then stop. In the moonlight, the grass looked like shredded pewter, except for the bronzed section ensnared in the shine of headlights. The driver's side door swung open, and Scoop's father stepped outside. Even from that dark distance, I knew it was him, the hunch of his shoulders, as though he were constantly bracing himself against a strong wind. He sat on the trunk and lighted a cigarette. The little orange ash winked like a satellite. The music was still playing, though quieter now, a fragile string of notes threaded through the autumn night. Here's the strangest thing that ever happened to me on a walk. Late one night, I passed a woman who was standing in the threshold of a thrift store, and she asked me if I would come inside and help her for a minute. "I'm closing the place," she said, gesturing around the almost empty shop. The clothing racks were bare except for the hangers. In the far corner of the room was a red wheelbarrow full of old-fashioned dolls, painted porcelain faces, bemused expressions, and mildew-brown clothes. "Here," the woman said, and she handed me a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. "I'm going to lie on the floor," she said, "and I need you to pour that in my ear." "Excuse me?" I said. "You're excused," she said. This anthology is such a cool concept, bringing together writers from the Seacoast area. I think I'm always surprised by how many good writers and how many good artists there are in the Seacoast. I know that probably shouldn't be surprising, but the reality is there's just some really incredible artists here in this region, and I think it's important to take some time to kind of bring them together in the same room, the same virtual room, or the same book in this case, and just kind of see what each artist is doing and what they're up to. I mean, it's really interesting. I'm familiar with some of these writers' work. Others I'll be discovering with our readers at the same time. So I think it's just a really great idea and just a great opportunity to kind of shine a light on this special region of New Hampshire and some of the work we're all doing.